He's the founder of Deep Sea Digital. He has 25 years of sales and marketing experience. John has sold over 3,000 independent and major studio movies and TV shows to all the major digital, cable, and retail platforms. As vice president of digital distribution at Paramount, he managed the digital sales team and digital account relationships. Before entering the home industry, entertainment industry, he served as brand manager at Nabisco and a marketing director at Mattel. So please welcome Mr. John Kim. What is exciting about the market these days? What is hopeful?
There has never been an opportunity to distribute your movie worldwide in as many platforms as in history. And I mean, it's remarkable you can make a movie and then, put it on such platforms as iTunes and Amazon and everything out there and reach literally billions, and YouTube, and reach billions of people. So that's an incredible opportunity. But with that, there is incredible challenge of competing against, the biggest and the best and the brightest and the most costly productions out there. So it's very, very easy to get something out, but the hard part is to get actual noticed and to make money. The only formula that makes it is spend as little as possible as you can to make your movie, because the revenues from the money that you make have become so much more diminished because there's no more theatrical and there's no more DVD market. I've sold thousands of movies, and I'm actually done like getting emotionally invested because I've sold movies that I've cried and really got excited about and thought that it was gonna be huge, and then can't even make a dime from it. And then I have some movies that quite honestly I'm embarrassed to be selling, but they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. So if someone, either a distributor or someone that's telling you that they know the secret, then they also got some snake oil and some swampland in Florida that you should avoid buying. AVOD is the best. Is why I call it going back to the future, because it was just back to the future. I mean, in the old days, watching Cheers and Friends, it was all ad supported. So there's nothing magical about that. Fortunately for me, when I started my company 6 years ago, the AVOD platforms like Tubi were the only places for me to work with. And so I was working with Tubi, and they had 40 people. So 6 years later and 700 films later on Tubi, I can honestly say that Tubi is the best and most realistic opportunity for any indie filmmaker to monetize their film, because it's not like they're on iTunes where you're competing against Avengers and major studio product. On Tubi, you're actually competing against 10-year-old product, or took Titanic 30 years to get there. So you're competing against the oldest major studio product, and the advertisers are now waking up. I mean, everybody's read Variety magazine and all that, and who are acting like they've known all this time. But but that being said, it's just because you read a Variety magazine article 10 times doesn't mean you know anything about the market. But after they got bought by Fox, and if you watch the Super Bowl, they actually did Super Bowl advertising.
Let's just assume that we have great content. Okay, we'll assume that. The problem is often that we don't have this P&A budget to market our films. How does one get a marketing campaign if you don't have a big budget to do it?
I would definitely watch out for anyone that's saying, "Hey, I'll spend $30,000 for a marketing campaign," because that ain't gonna do anything. That's just a reason to take $30,000 of your money and not pay you back any to 30,000, right? And then to create your own marketing campaign, that's a whole nother like $64,000 question, who really knows? Is if you are talking with a distributor that says they're gonna, pay $30,000 of a marketing fee and will deduct that from future sales. I mean, $30,000 in is not even a spit in the ocean to break through the clutter. So that's a warning flag. You can't spend 30,000, and that's nothing. The beauty about Tubi is that there are 50,000 movies on there, which it is easy to get lost. I've had movies that are, quote unquote high quality, several million-dollar production value. I've gotten six-figure deals, SVOD, and they don't make $5 a day at Tubi because they're getting lost. They have a very, very complex algorithm so that if you saw this then you saw that, then you're gonna get this movie exposed to their screen. So there's 25 of us on here and all of us will have a different screen of what Tubi shows, right? So, and it's all based on what you've actually looked at. So here in this case is what, I guess, John, you popped up Tubi and that was a whole list of their originals. The thing that Tubi has is they have an incredible understanding of what sells, of who sells, which stars and how much. So, in that scenario you were talking about a Tubi original. Um, I don't know about what that clause about if you're mentioning about Film Hub, if they sold a Tubi original, then they take all the money, which is obviously very strange. I mean, you made the film, but Tubi's business model is on a daily basis, not these originals, but they will share 50/50 of the ad sales that were generated from the number of impressions that were watched on a movie, right? So the way you make money on Tubi and all these AVOD platforms is that you need millions of people to watch your movie. And the CPM rates, which is cost per thousand, which is how much advertisers are willing to pay to reach 1,000 views, is roughly like $7 to 750-ish. So, if you think about it, it's like, holy crap, I got to get if 1,000 impressions, if someone put on my movie and then it ran an ad and there was 1,000 people that were just kind of put on the screen, you're going to make $7.50, right? And then you have to split that 50 cents. I mean, 50%. So, if you do the math, it's gargantuan. Like, you know, you got to get a lot of millions of people to watch. There's just not a lot of good family and faith content out there. I mean, there's only so many times you can, watch Kevin Sorbo and John Schneider, and they're the superstars, right? Or unfortunately, I mean, Tom Sizemore, bless his heart, I think he got sick. But yeah, so I'm assuming this is the family and faith section. So I have a
No,
number of movies.
this is just faith. There is a
Okay,
family
faith.
section as well.
Yeah, so I have a number of movies here on this. Like I said, I have 700 movies on the platform. I am one of the largest providers, independent providers of to Tubi for this content and for Black. But people, general consumers, they are starting to gravitate here, and in the AVOD market because of the pandemic, uh, you know, this audience has ballooned. I mean, before the pandemic, in general, in new technology, the family markets are always the latest adapters of technology. So, I mean, that's why DVD for family and faith market is still pretty significant because in the heartland, some of them might not have a internet connection. Um, so that's why DVD still is and it's still a very functional. In a lot of ways, it's better than streaming because you can go and you can play, in your vacation house. You don't need internet connection. You can use it as a frisbee for the kids. I mean, it's a very functional. Um, you know, it's not like I mean, it's also the reason why, the EST and the digital transition hasn't been that strong, because if you really look at what is the true benefit of ownership, of a digital ownership versus actually a physical, again, people pretty happy with the DVD. And with all these platforms going out of business, and you bought something, then you lost it, and then you don't have an internet connection because you're in the mountains. There's actually a lot of reasons why that TVOD number that you saw isn't really taking over. I mean, it was at 3% of the market, not even 3%, but it's declining. And the other reason that people aren't buying, which is transactional, is, even $5 for a rental. It's like, why should I spend even $5? I mean, I got Disney, I got Netflix, I got ESPN, I spend $100 a month on these platforms. I just have to wait. I mean, unless it's truly, truly, something that the kids are clamoring for, then they're just gonna wait. With all these different, Americans have 100,000 movies at their fingertips, which is just crazy if you think about it, between all these different platforms. So, unless it's truly, truly breakthrough, it's like, why am I going to spend $5? Why am I going to buy it? I mean, that's why pretty much the whole digital market is predominantly rental, because at least it's only $5, $4 or $5 to rent it, versus like, why do I even need to like pay $15 to own it? Even with DVD, when it first came out, DVD was what I call the whippersnappers. That they're early adapters, and they're younger, and they're male, and they like the kind of the horror, and the high action, and kind of the sophomore comedy, and the families really aren't really the first adapters, is what I'm saying. But because of the pandemic and people are at home and discovering, all of a sudden, they're discovering that there's more out there that are free, and that's why the free market, the free AVOD ad supported market is really taken off. So in that family and faith section that you were popping up in Tubi, like I said, I have a number of strong titles that are doing, very, very, I mean, very well, right? So that's all. I mean, it's going to be even bigger. Like if you take that same snapshot of percentage of, family and faith audience, and currently it's 60 million people are on Tubi, and a year from now, with the Super Bowl advertising, consumers understanding it, it's going to be 80 million, right? So the beauty about the streaming thing also is that, because that bucket of people is just continually entering, you don't have the kind of the theatrical trending of, or even the DVD trending of, first 12 weeks, and then 80% of all your business is come and done, right? Because so many people are coming in, it can be like a new release. So a lot of these family and faith product, can actually live and do well on an ongoing basis.
The faith genre audience is forgiving, and as long as you get the messaging right and don't offend their sense of faith, the Bible, God's word, they'll respect, or they'll accept a lower level of production,
100%.
and
And
they'll
I
watch
mean,
the
that's
film. And that's where this audience can get in. It's kind of the same as the horror audience, as long as you respect their traditions, they will like your film. And that means you don't need to go and spend,
No, you don't.
all that money on
That's what I'm
stock.
saying. That's what I'm saying, is that the faith segment is, as much as the odds are stacked against an independent filmmaker, like the chances of success are definitely better within the family and faith market. As long as you do the formula, the 4 steps, and you don't deviate, we're good. And the story, I mean, it's just like the other sector that is alive and kicking, and not getting cord cutted out, is like the Hallmark Channel. Everyone knows exactly what the movie's going to end up, how it's going to end up. It's a formula, but stick to the formula, and we're all good. I mean, we all need this comfort food and this in this crazy age of today. And the problem is when you try to, like you said, you were mentioned earlier, you're trying to like please all the audiences, then you're fish nor foul, and you can use these films to reach new believers, but then all of a sudden you're alienating your current base, so then you're really in trouble, right? So yeah, I 100% agree. And there's some platforms out there that are SVOD platforms, the PureFlix of the world, or and the Up TVs and the TVNs, where I have many movies on there. That the whole name of the game is you're not going to get one big check to just take the take the whole solve the whole problem. I mean, what you have to do, the name of the game is to get it on as many platforms as possible, non-exclusively, and just collect all your nickels and dimes everywhere. And my point is that thank God the market has gotten so much bigger so that you are collecting more significant uh, nickels and dimes and quarters everywhere. I mean, there are some faith. I have a faith-based movie that, I mean, holy smokes! Even I was surprised that it made several hundred, a couple say faith-based films that have made a couple 100,000 transactionally. So because of that audience, and they way over delivered. I mean, the you know that's the stuff that people are willing to pay for because of this audience. It's something about C.S. Lewis. You know, of he's the he's the Beatles of Christianity, right? I mean, stuff. So I was stunned because he way overperformed theatrically, way overperformed transactionally, and to your point, you have a it's a significant audience, and they are loyal, and they will come if the right time, I mean, the right product is out there. I mean, it's smart that Netflix is opening up to ad support. I mean, they shut themselves out to 50% of the market, or 60, actually it's 60% of the market. I mean, Hulu has been doing both, in this terms it's called hybrid, and there are 86 million subscribers. 75% have been ad supported. It's just that's the stuff that no one really talks about, because if you're at a studio, you have to drink the Kool-Aid, like you got to do the Game of Thrones thing, and it's just the problem is you can't you can't win a championship by just having a grand slam home run every single at bat, and that's where the major studios are having a problem. They have to have I mean, they have to have a grand slam home run every at bat, and no one can do that. I mean, think about it. It's like Avatar, just to break even, he was saying he has to make $2 billion. It's like, holy smokes, $2 billion just to break even? Are you kidding me? I mean, what kind of math, what kind of business proposition is that? I mean, the thing is the thing that no one talks about, and the way that the mindset for the indie side of things is you can't expect I mean, your whole business and success to like be the next, every at bat is going to be a Slumdog Millionaire, right? Even Slumdog Millionaire was like one out of 100, or not even one out of 1,000, right? So when you talk about your planning, John, about planning, it's like you need to plan for like single or a double. And hopefully you hit it hard enough and it actually became a home run. But to plan for like a home run in the ocean of choices, you know, I mean, again, there are going to be people that are going to hit the ball out of the park, and there are going to be people that win the lottery ticket, but it's only one, right? So, I'm in the business of selling lottery tickets. So that's why, I'll sell a lot of tickets, and then hopefully, of the something something will hit, but you increase your odds by really focusing on your niche audience, and making, very shrewd and smart business decisions. But let's just say to this audience, I mean, I don't know anybody, but $500,000, let's just say $500,000 budget is significant. That, to me, if I were making a movie, 500, that's a huge amount of money. But that's in the drop in the bucket to a lot of your competition. So it's really hard to compete against that. But if you don't, I mean, you can ignore it and you can say, "Oh, mine's better" and all that stuff, and it might be, but you just got to be educated. It looks good on paper, but just like a good story sounds good on paper, but then you got humans involved, and COVID hits, this has, you got fighting, you got your skeleton in the closet. There's just human behaviors that just happen, and all of a sudden something that looks good on paper just looks like crap, and then you're stuck with it. I get 30 solicit submissions a week. I probably say no to 30 in 1 week or two, because it's like, I'm sorry, but this is not the right cast, it's not the right genre, it's not the right genre. For a lot of it's a difficult, it's just a business.
Now, now,
This is a
now,
business.
if you are a first-time filmmaker, John said he doesn't want to talk to you, but the truth is, if you had a great plan and a good IP, he would talk to you. So
Again, I'm talking
just
about
be willing to.
general guidelines.
Yeah.
There's always exception. I mean, there's always a Slumdog Millionaire. There's always, miracles happen. I saw a movie on Netflix. That movie stunk. My movie is 10 times better. This should be on Netflix. It's like people have no idea what actually, happens. But I mean, it's like, you know what? I'm a better free throw shooter than Shaq. He shot like 20%. I can shoot 50%. That doesn't make me go to the NBA. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot more to it than that. It's not an art and it's not a science. It's just it's unknown.
How do you get good placement on Tubi? Is it based on your performance and your marketing, and how do you make, and what are their upfront fees like?
There's no upfront fees. So again, Netflix, again, when people read headlines, and again, this is first time filmmaker will say, hey, they'll read something and say, hey, Netflix is spending $21 billion. That's so much money. They should spend it on mine. It's like, no, they're spending $21 billion on $10 million per episode movies, or I mean, TV shows that, how can you compete against that? Right? You just can't. And the thing, and what they are going for is they are going for these properties that are going to make millions of people want to subscribe for their service, right? I mean, or have journalists write about this and that, and so I mean, they need millions of people to be signing up, right? So again, against that context of like, how does a $300,000 movie compete against that? It's not easy, right? So the odds of getting a license deal, it can happen. Like I said, just like the lottery can happen, but it's like those kind of odds. And by the way, people are stunned to find out, like, how small those independent films get, and exclusive. So, but the nice thing about it is that if it's that good to get that kind of deal, from Netflix, I mean, that says a lot. I mean, if you get a deal from Netflix, what I tell people is that just shows you are in a 1% exclusive club, and you are a good filmmaker, right? I mean, as subjective as our business is, it's like saying, hey, your Academy Award winner. I mean, that they've got to be good because like, yeah, that's a badge. But like, you're not going to get rich as an independent filmmaker making a license fee. However, the good news is that you can, in that exclusive period at a Tubi, to easily make that money and more, um, on a rev share basis. So like I said, Tubi, there's a rev share. So you get 10 million people view it, then you're gonna get paid $7 per CPM, per thousand. Split that 50%, and then sales commission out, and that's how you're going to get paid. So that's the rev share basis, right? So they are doing a Tubi original where they are just saying, "Hey, we like your thing, your movie. We'll pay you $200,000 or $100,000, for the rights to just own it outright." Could you have made more money just doing a straight rev share? Yes. They're not stupid. They know exactly how much your film is worth, and they will bid 30 to 40 to 50% less because they're businessmen, right? So they gave you $100,000, and hopefully you made your movie for 30,000, which can be done, and it is the right thing to do when we're talking about independent films, not 300, $500,000,
Mhm.
and you make $70,000. That's a huge win because 90% of all those distributor people that you were referring to, the money that they made couldn't even make their delivery costs of a couple $1,000s. That's the reality. Yeah, you got on iTunes, hooray, hooray! But those funds that they were making was like $5, right? So again, there's two paths. There's Tubi giving you a check for your money. Thank you very much. We like it, and that's a 10% club, right? And then there's a majority. Actually, that's a 2% club. The
Mhm.
majority of the 98% of those 50,000 movies on Tubi, that's rev share. That's sharing 50/50 the money up front, right? You got to get paid, and you look at the terms. Are there marketing fees? I mean, that's a danger flag. That's like $30,000 marketing fees, $30,000 like of an excuse not to get paid $30,000, right? And then you look at the term. This is your baby. This is your baby. You don't give your babysitter. You don't give your babysitter. Hey, come back 10 years from now and tell me how it goes. The film distributor does not, own your movie. He's a caretaker. Is your babysitter. So you got to trust your babysitter, for crying out loud, right? And you're not going to give your babysitter 10 years or 3 years or 5 years or whatever. It's like, do you really want to like come back and say, that's what that you just got. That's the due diligence. Is what's the reputation? One of the ways that you can tell a good reputation or not is like, well, what films and what's their clientele, right? I mean, just like, if they have some like good films, it's like, oh, okay, so that's good. That must be mean, something. And packaging is the number one the number one advertising vehicle for independent producers. Like, that's a way of cutting through I mean, it's much more than any 30,000, marketing budget, because your battlefield is that little thumbnail print, and people, if they see a face to say they know, or see something very kind of interesting, then you're going to get the click. You could put my picture on this 2x2 and you could say it's starring Bruce Lee. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't tell the difference because it's so small. There's a lot of messaging here that it looks good on a full screen. You get it. But when you start going down, you can't tell who is who. What is more compelling than all that is like the fight scene, and it's more important than the name of the movie. You just have to have a unique name. And again, it doesn't have to be like rocket science. The rocket science is trying to find a name that hasn't been taken. But no one is buying. No one, the consumers have not been spent $10 million to know the name of the movie, for one, right? So to have the name of the movie like being front and center is like waste of space. They want to see, in that case with this audience, they want to see the guns and the fighting. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going to attract it, right? And again, this audience is predominantly male. I'm talking the AVOD audience. It's predominantly male, and and they want this, young guns slash, it's the young hip, whippersnapper stuff. But like I said, then there is this faith and family audience, which is great, and then obviously they're not going for the guns and all that. But you got to know exactly who your audience is, and then you have space for one message, maybe two, and that is it. And you let the algorithms take over. So, if it's a B-level actor or whatever, anyone that's watched, that actor, then they're going to see the screen. So that's important for the metadata, right? But to put his face on the some B-level actor that no one knows about, it's not getting you anything. It really isn't, right? There ain't no, key art police that are saying, "Oh, Snoop was only in it in the end credit. You gotta remove it." Right? No, Snoop was in it. He showed it. I'm putting him on the face of the cover. That's what's gonna sell. Shorts, you know, think about it from a consumer's point of view. No one, you have friends over, your friends, you say, "Hey, what movie are you gonna watch? Oh, let's watch a short." People don't do that, right? Shorts are not commercially viable. There's just not. And there's only so much real estate that that's why you don't see any short sections at Tubi. Plain and simple. Shorts are a vehicle to showcase your movie making ability. Just, is there a calling card like, oh, this guy can make a pretty good movie in 10 minutes. I'll invest more money in a bigger film, in a film.
Why do you think Quibi failed?
This generation just wants everything for free, right? So they don't care that, Steven Spielberg, oh, I heard about that guy. He did some old stuff, whatever. But this whole SVOD market is not panning out. You have to get so many people to pay $10, to make even close to what your investment was, because you're giving it away for free. And then so now they're looking, it's like, holy smokes, Disney losing $1 billion a quarter. But so that's why Quibi failed. It's they're trying to jam in like economics that would never work. Like that's why Netflix is like actually doing something with the ad market, because they're like, this business model is not sustainable. If I have it on this platform, is it going to cannibalize on the sales on the Roku channel? No. Again, you're lucky if someone is even on a leap year able to even see your movie in the same month on the same platform, because there's so many movies out there, right? So it's that's what I'm saying. The game is to just put your product out everywhere and just collect all the money wherever you can get it. It's not a matter of, oh, I want to be on here, and then for a couple months, and then I want to be here, and that's literally like saying that the consumer is shopping, all these movies, and they're not. There's no regulation in this industry, right? So it's very easy to snooker somebody, and legally snooker them, right? The legally snooker one is, hey, we're gonna charge $30,000 for marketing fee. I mean, that's a legal, contractual, nothing done is wrong. But what can you do with $30,000? Really, it's just 30,000 not to get paid, right? But that's a legal snooker. You want millions of people to watch it, and you have that capacity because there are 60 million people at Tubi that are ravenous. They come there every Saturday because they know there's new releases coming there every Saturday. They've been trained. And so that is your best shot at getting millions of people to watch your movie, to then get paid. And I have a channel that's got 330,000 subscribers, and that channel is bigger for my clients than Roku, than Voodoo, than I'm reaching Africa, I'm reaching India. These people, they don't have access to Netflix, they don't have access to Tubi. They do have access to all these cat videos, which I was, so when you have like a B movie compared to a cat video, that B movie is like Academy Award as far as production value, whatever. That's the chance where you have to compete, right? It's like that's why YouTube, that's why I'm feeling good about YouTube, is because, in a year, my clients have made over $1 million. It would have taken me 10 lifetimes to create my own channel in the US and try. I would have got nothing, right? But I'm building on the back of what YouTube has done, which is to hit the homes of 2.2 billion people. The number of people that say this movie changed my life, this number, I rededicated myself to, the Lord because of this movie. I mean, that is gold. That is not money, but to some people in this audience, that is money. This one-to-one conversation that the filmmaker can have with their audience. You're having one-to-one like commentary. It's like, oh, this movie, and the filmmakers, they're like, of course they want to get paid always, which is understandable. But then the secondary or third are like, holy smokes, these guys are telling me, hey, you like this movie? Go watch my other movie, or hey, you really changed my life. Oh man, that's just music, music to my. I mean, it's an amazing dialogue that happens I answer every one of my emails. I mean, the texts that I get, or the chats or whatever you want, or messages, because uh, I then recommend, and then also that helps the engagement, and that helps the algorithms, so that it'll push out to more people, right? But it's just fascinating to me. I mean, I'm just reading the comments. It's like, wow, this is magical, right? I mean, again, money is the most important thing, but if you can actually see getting ideas for, hey, when's the part two coming out? It's just incredible, right? So that's another reason why, like, my clients and I like YouTube so much, is reaching worldwide audiences, and then having this incredible dialogue and commentary that you just don't see anywhere on any platform. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Well, we're kind of out of time, a little overtime, but the audience is very appreciative of the conversation and the frankness, and
Hey, I'm not trying to kill anyone's dreams. Please, I'm just telling you what the life is like in the jungle, really in the jungle.
yeah, I mean, we've had enough. I mean, I've had enough of salespeople. Everybody's kind of frank. I think they'll tell you what they think they can do, but I've gotten two big contracts from major players in the distribution world, and they both wanted 10 years, and they had this big expense account, and I said, no, you got to cap expenses. They wouldn't do it. I said, i can't I can't sign up with you.
And that's the right. I mean, again, $30,000. What can you do with $30,000 when in the universe of people spending millions of dollars? It's just an excuse not to pay. If I don't sell your movie in 6 months, I'm gonna dump you before you dump me. Period. I'm not in the business of like trying to explain why your movie didn't make money.
John, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'll be back in touch with you soon.